Why do teams not ban this against SPT?
I don't know.
Every single time. 12-0 on the Dragonshire. Someone end the madness. This has to stop. Someone call Filthy Frank.
It's time to stop. Well, I mean, it could also be time to stop to end the domination by SPT on this battleground. Maybe that's their approach.
Maybe.
We're going to be the chosen ones, you know?
If you're going to beat them and get a demoralizing first win, you might as well let them take you to their best map and beat them there. That's the ultimate sentiment of we are here to win, and a super demoralizing blow to SPT if they do lose. For now, though, we're starting off with a Genji ban. No Ariel Tassadar bans here.
And here's the crazy thing, Tetcher. Out of all the teams I would consider banning the Tassadar the most, it is SPT, because Melody C, hands down, best Tassadar in the league, maybe even a contender for best Tassadar in Asia, because he hasn't lost a single game. Like, whenever they had him on the Tassadar, they just dominated. It's just his impeccable timing on when to drop the shields on which target, his positioning, his overall damage that he can dish out with the Archon, is just so scary. So the fact that they let it go through either tells us, well, they are going to pick it themselves because they're first pick, or they found a counter strategy to really keep Melody C in check. Good luck trying.
In the chat, Chaos Last Order with an interesting bit. Once again, the localization and literal translations that the world has to give us sometimes. Apparently, the Chinese name for Dragonshire is Giant Dragon Town, which is a great and very accurate name. So, well done.
Yeah. Doesn't it sound cooler? Come on, guys. It sounds cool.
Yeah, like, would you rather live in a Dragonshire? Okay, there's, I think Lord of the Rings. It's a couple, it's just Lord of the Rings with a dragon in it.
It's quite boring in there, not much going on.
Giant Dragon Town!
That's where the party's at.
It does sound more badass.
Yeah.
So, Ariel and Tassadar banned every game before this. Both make it into this game. One on each team.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we see Lunara, who has been tearing apart teams in the previous series. Both CE and BGT respectively fell when the other team had the Lunara in their roster, and combined that with the Tassadar previously mentioned. Melody C unbeaten on that hero. As I said, 4-0 in only that phase, and even before that he continued to bring the pain. Now, we see the Ariel though. Can she be the counter? Ironically though, Tetra, I would say no, because Ariel is one of the supports that struggles the most against a lot of consistent AoE poke.
Very true. Ariel needs also long-range poke in order to get it. Valor's already banned out. I would argue there's only one viable option to consistently poke back and get energy, and that would be Gul'dan.
Yep, very true. Very true. Gul'dan as the so-called Hope Battery could be a thing. Lunara is normally very good at that as well. Oh my goodness. Quan Zhao also unbeaten on that Lunara. I would be...
They're unbeaten on everything. The one times they are beat, they have like 3 draws total.
Still true, but it's still scary.
It is. So, what else do they need? They have Lunara. More slows, please. They already have Tass. Arthas was a very solid ban for this reason, but Muradin fits in very well, and both Misaka and Soap can play that beautifully.
Yeah, I was going to say Misaka played a lot of Arthas lately, and keep in mind that I think this Arthas ban basically was done because they are afraid of a permanent slower to really trigger the unfair advantage for Lunara all the time. And as such, Arthas, who's also a very strong frontliner in general, would excel at that role. So getting this unfair advantage value out of the way makes a lot of sense, but Burden has his own slowing sources. It's just not as consistent, as reliable as Arthas.
Yeah. Jack calling Cho'Gall, I would love to see it, but this is the anti-Cho'Gall map. There's so much rotations required that Cho'Gall just super struggles with.
Dragonshire sometimes is comparable to Tomb of the Spider Queen in terms of map size, in terms of rotations, as you said. I don't think it would be the worst choice ever, don't get me wrong. I don't think it would be terrible, but I don't think it's going to work against SPT. You could try that against a team like Hot Lady maybe, or against a team like, let's say, RPG, but I'm not sure if it's working out against SPT, who are going to crush you hard and punish every single mistake. Instead, they go for something safer, they go for the Sonya, because truth be told... Wait, what? Into the Murden. Interesting. I was going to say there aren't really a lot of counters, but then I saw Murdens.
Like, Skullcracker could be a problem, but as long as they go for an auto-attack build, that won't be as much of an issue. So they'll still get the attack speed slow, but they should be okay, and at least it's another frontline distraction. Keeps Lucio safer, because they are going for a Lucio, more AoE healing to assist in dealing with that Lunara. Whereas SPT, they bring out the Rhaegar as their main healer. This is very much a protect the Lunara comp and try and isolate with Dahaka.
Now, I'm not sure, Techer, if there's going to be enough manpower, enough oomph in the comp of TheOne. They fully rely on the Greymane to bring the pain, a little bit of Sonya pressure as well, and of course the big Wombo AoE combo coming in from the ETC. Is it going to be enough though? Once again, we have a strong Melody C Tassadar in the building, we have a Rhaegar at that, and we also have a little bit of self-sustain on heroes like Murden later when they gain access to the healing setting. What is your take on it? Do you think they have enough manpower to really punch through?
Through the Murden?
The team comp in general. Like, can they kill anyone?
If they can isolate, yes. I don't think as a team fight, they're going to have to really rely on the Greymane. Just quickly, I did have a lag, and I'm currently up to 8. What are you currently on?
Okay, my stream is running suspiciously smooth, so hopefully... Oh, I'm sitting at solid 6, so I'm just going to refresh. Let's see if I can get up to 7. That would be awesome.
Yeah. 7 would do... I might be behind for being stupid behind, because I'm not so stable enough to consistently get 6.
Let's see. We have a little bit of time, guys. I'm actually going to swap out to the out-of-game scenes while I'm trying to fix it.
Hit the buttons.
What is your next upgrade, by the way, Techer? If you could have any further upgrades onto your webcam, so to speak, what would it be? Like, now you can blink. You look good.
I would like hands that just move randomly and like gesticate.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the first game between TheOne and SPT is about to commence. Let's do it! Alright, and one final time for today's play day. We're gonna field those teams into battle with TheOne in the blues, with Hugo on the Sonya, Lucky on the ETC, Meng plays Greymane, Zyren on the Auriel, and Hehe goes on Lucio.
Whereas on the right-hand side, our current #1 seed, it is Super Perfect Team, with Zhen Zhao playing on the Lunara, Melody C on Tassadar, Misaka on Muradin, Soap on the Dahaka, and ZZH is playing the Rhaegar.
Very cool to see. Now let's take a look at some of those level 1 talents. We see the Perfect Storm for Muradin. You know, sometimes players like to go for the block, sometimes they like to go for the third wind, especially in maps like Battlefield of Eternity, where you need to stay in the battle for a long period of time. But generally speaking, especially in China, I think the Perfect Storm is the way to go. You can actually deal a significant amount of damages in the late game if you successfully stack it up.
We also see the Slotum, the Colossal Totem coming in from Rhaegar, the extra radius on that, so that's cool.
That's cool. I think it gives you a bigger radius on the slows, and that pairs off well with the Lunara. Unfair advantage. Once again, going for every tiny amount of slow they can muster. Kind of cool to see this neat little adaptation.
Yeah, even Tass as well, starting with the Storm build, which synergizes very well into the late game, where he can get the extra slow while he's attacking people in the Storm, meaning more slows, more poison, more damage, more wins. Someone made that into a flowchart. As we do see TheOne clearing out the lanes, just rotating. Lucky is not really participating in this. He is just making sure that his team is not ganked by preparing in the bushes and moving ahead of them as much as possible.
Yep. Hugo needs to be careful on the Sonya. He took a lot of damage on the top lane against those towers, dropping to below 50% health. Needs to use the healing fountain right at the get-go, but so is...
did as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, Soap is also not really in best spot.
Does Soap have essence? Here is the question.
Yep.
Sonya will be able to poke him down. There we go. It's got a little bit of essence. It's even. Drag's good. That gives the trade a little bit in favor of Soap. And he still has Fountain potentially, so he might just be able to go back and grab it. For now, he's waiting. Sonya's found him, so those two will duel a little bit more. Well, TheOne have finally really split up into lanes. They're still rotating quite a bit between mid and bot, but only with 2 people now as opposed to a full 4-man.
Yeah, now the bottom shrine seems to be in control here for TheOne, making sure that we're actually allowing them to maybe potentially... Oh, nice attempt here by Hugo, going for the spear over the wall. But Melody on the Tassadar is just the guardian, the gatekeeper, if you will, for the dragon here. Tassadar probably one of the best heroes to do exactly that, because he's hard to catch. He's got a good range of his storms. So definitely the right lane split here on the side of SPT.
Yeah. Camp was raided, but it did not leash, so therefore SPT still attempting to capture it, bouncing back and forth, getting help from Lunara and even potentially Tassadar this time. There's no chance TheOne were actually planning to invade, as they'd already started their own Siege Giant camp, so this will be the bottom lane neutralizing out a bit, as TheOne still continue to hold on to that shrine, at least for the moment.
Now we see the Colorless Light coming in here at level 4 for that Tassadar, giving 15 armor once the shields expire or get broken, which makes a lot of sense too if you have the Greymane, who's very explosive, with Sonya and ETC engaged. So normally when you don't have those fast attacking auto attackers like Lunara, it makes much more sense to go for the Colorless Light, whereas if you have a Vala who attacks very rapidly, or a Tracer, you go for the Colorless Embrace. But look at that Tetcher, big team fight. Oh my...
Body blocks are huge, and ZZH gets taken out thanks to that Detainment Strike. Lucky MVP of that fight. Beautiful body blocking. Hugo's being forced back as well. Oh no, that's bad news. Soap chasing down. The drag is dodged. Hugo still alive. He's now in a micro
one spear.
war.
Yeah, needs one spear.
Under tower. No, Soap not falling for it. Not taking the bait.
But that was a massive body block a few seconds ago here by Lucky on that mighty cow, refusing to let anyone escape out of that horseshoe in the bottom shrine. So really, really well done. Now we see the Spirit Walker's Grace here at level 4 for Rehgar, going for a full sustained healing build, which makes a lot of sense against the constant poke by the Greymane. Kind of cool to see. No healing totem. As such, it's going to weaken his laning phase a little bit, but it's going to definitely save him a lot more mana throughout the game. So, kind of cool.
The Mighty Cows would coincidentally be my underdog baseball team who need to win the tournament to save the stadium. As we do see Lucky trying to hold the point here. Misaka is just playing very, not aggressively, but very audaciously, just holding the front line, just saying, nope, I'm just going to keep standing here and eventually you're going to have to leave.
Oh boy, and the battle between the immovable object and the
One of them's gonna die eventually.
Oh no, it's...
turn around! Draglands! Soap takes the first kill, and that is not first blood, but second blood.
I think I might still be a little bit ahead of you. Are you sure you're sitting at 8?
I'm on 8. But there's a full second of 8 I could be in. Okay. Rip Misaka. Oh dear. Soap tunneling down, try to help out, gets a Tainment Strike, focus down, and... Oh, Burrow for the save.
Tetcher is the one actually dominating this early game here against SPT. I mean, not necessarily in getting kills left, right, and center, but in terms of overall setting the pace of the game, like controlling shrines.
Wouldn't call it dominating, but it's certainly winning. That is certainly what they are doing. For now, Sonya has remade her way back up through the top lane. Tahaka's on the way as well, but he had to take a long way round with very few bushes, so as such it took him quite a while. And that's what Sonya takes control of the top. That's both shrines in favor of TheOne.
No Skullcracker for Misaka. He doesn't seem to be relying on those interrupts for Sonya. He goes for the momentum. He goes for the cooldown reduction. Quan Zhao now in trouble.
Meng able to get healed up very quickly. Zyran has full health. Zhen Zhao gets taken out, but Misaka was able to neutralize the bottom shrine, and as such, Dragon Knight gets delayed. Lucio's in position now, though, as Misaka's forced off. Tahaka's not in position to deny this. This is just a guaranteed Dragon Knight. First Dragon Knight of the game will go over to TheOne.
Thanks to Lucio's swift rotations as well, he was able to snatch that Dragon Knight away from the enemy team. The Accelerando at level 1 really helps him doing so. Like, whenever he skates near terrain, he gets a massive movement speed boost for a couple of seconds, and that really allows him to be a very efficient, very fast rotator. Actually faster than most other heroes who use a mount, because the time you need in order to set up the mount costs you a couple of seconds. So, kind of cool to see how TheOne are not, as we said, dominating, but at least, you know, making sure that the early game is not being dominated by SPT, and Soap is about to fall. No! Beautiful reactions here with a nice burrow in time, but the Dragon Knight, as a result, left unleashed, left totally alone in the bottom lane.
Bad that Tahaka lived, though, with and pulling Sonya in to get her killed. You guys know what to spam. As we do see the Dragon Knight, though, pushing in, getting good value. It's only got 40 seconds left, though, so that's really going to be the end of any huge value it could get. The one-man mosh pit, though, on Muradin, trying to kill him off. He has to pop Avatar, as both teams had the level 10. Oh, that's a good drag. Rip Ariel. She had Aegis, but was not able to react in time. Dragon Knight gets popped, and everyone else leaves. And some structure damage was done, but look at the XP. Still even.
And the big mecha Tassadar Archon as well, just slicing the enemy team apart. But as you said, I mean, it's cool to get those kills, right? It's cool to make them happen. It's cool to keep the enemy team at bay. But what really matters is the overall XP count. And as such, the Dragon Knight did its job. It got a couple of towers. It rotated from lane to lane. That's exactly how you basically want to pilot the Dragon Knight early on. You normally don't want to go for this all-in fort attack because the early Dragon Knights are not very resilient. So, really cool to see the early game aggression that pays off for the One. And what impresses me the most, Tetra, is the fact that they play like a team that doesn't show fear, that doesn't show respect to a big top dog like SPT.
Exactly, and the fact is, the One are currently, considering they have been playing a little bit very well in the early game, they are still technically they are even in XP, even with those structure kills. So they need to stop losing all this map control, considering how close they are. There's a Bruiser camp and a Siege Giant camp still pushing in bot lane, and they've taken this long to grab their own Siege Giant camp. Yeah. So that has already taken down the whole front wall.
Exactly, the whole front wall. The healing fountain is probably going to fall as well. Now, Reg abilities, almost all of them are ready. Archon and Moshpit are going to share the exact same cooldown, so it wouldn't really surprise me to see another major teamfight erupt very soon, especially with both Dragon Shrines, getting unlocked in 20 seconds from now on. So, 13 is also so close, Tetra. This is probably the closest game we've had all day. Like, this is literally neck to neck.
Probably is, SPT. Waiting for that 13. There it is. Or near. Nearly there. Kill a minion! Get the level. Tassadar drops a storm. There we go. Level 13 available. Both teams with all heroics off cooldown as Wrath the Berserker comes up in 5 seconds. 13's on the way for the One as well. There's the isolation used here on that Sonya. Going to try and take her down. She is instead just going to pull back. Drag lands though. Nicely done. Slow is dropped and still makes it out.
And there we go. That's why Hugo actually used the Wrath of the Berserker, not because he was trying to turn the fight around or take the fight to Dehaka. No, he wanted to have the cooldown reduction, or excuse me, crowd control effect reduction. So as a result, because this Wrath of the Berserker was online, the Dehaka drag didn't last for the full duration, and that probably saved his life. So really good thinking, really good decision making by Hugo once again. Here comes Slope though, going in very aggressively, very fast. Can he? Oh.
Okay, missed the drag. Muradin unfortunately debating him there by stunning out ETC. Power slide's good. Mosh Pit is off cooldown. He's holding it for a while though.
A massive ancestral healing, securing Dehaka's survival, which was so crucial. If they had gotten the kill, I think they could have just snowballed from there. They could have definitely torn the backline apart, but as such, so many cooldowns, so much time was used to actually kill Dehaka. In the end, they weren't successful. Speaking of Dehaka, so trying to go for the Dragon Knight, gets interrupted by the spear. Now, the big turnaround. Licky Sticky Tongue lands like a charm.
Immediate isolation into drag, but not enough to guarantee the Sonya kill, and as such, now that's isolation down. One of the big heroics for actually killing people here has been removed, as now the cocktails begin to come in and get those stacks for Greymane. However, the longer this goes on, the more poison Lunara is going to be able to drop out with that Splintered Spear.
Keep in mind, Tetra, the Mosh Pit is still ready. So is the Wrath of the Berserker, and so is the Crystal Aegis. There are still a couple of tools available for the One to be used if they want to prevent this Dragon Knight from happening. Look at the slow stop by Lunara and the Totem from Rhaegar. So well played. The Dragon Knight falls into the hands of SPT, gets baited deep into the fort, and takes a lot of damage, though.
It does. That Lucio speed boost forces the Dragon Knight to go far and doesn't even get the punt. Nicely done. See a Greymane though. He gets kicked away for a little bit as the Dragon Knight begins working on the fort. He will get it, but everyone's alive. Spear misses though.
For now. Yep, for now, ETC had to teleport back because his mana was getting a little bit low. The Dragon Knight immediately seizes the opportunity, rotates towards the bottom lane, and maybe tries to get a little bit more value done over there. But for the most part, it's just, you know, keeping the enemy team busy, allowing the rest of your own team to soak forward to that 16. We see the tidal waves coming in here as well for the Rhaegar. Outstanding synergy with that level 4 Spirit Walker's Grace. Now, Soap in trouble. He's a slippery Dehaka though. Can he survive? Yes, he can.
He doesn't have tunneling claws, so if he had been locked down, he might have gone down, but his allies were near enough that if the engage had happened, there's a good chance Lucky would die. Lucky might now. Isolation drops. There's a good sound barrier, though. Keeping him alive. EDC nice going in. Mosh pit. Only grabbing one, but immediately cleansed out as Dahaka once again pulling back. Muradin is directly at the front line, just completely sustaining through this. Lucky will drop. The Aegis delayed the death of Sonya for at least a little bit. Gray made able to survive by jumping into the back line. Good job there. Now it's just Hugo kind of alone here. Speed boost is on from Lucio to try and get him out, but there was too much CC.
I just want to take this moment in order to highlight and appreciate the overall movement from SPT. They predicted every single move by ETC. They knew when he was going to jump back in. They knew when he was trying to go for the mosh, and they split up perfectly. They used the cleanse in time, and as such, they get another kill even on top of that, being the icing on the cake here. But other teams, they would have come up a little bit more. Other teams in China would have maybe not even been aware of the mosh pit that's about to go down. But Misaka and his boys were able to do exactly that. So well played. The cleanse also by Rhaegar on point. ZZH, we praised him a little bit before the game started, and I think rightfully so. Also, I gotta tell you, Tetra, these ancestral healings on the Haka, every single time, keeping Soap alive, fantastic. Licky Sticky Ton, CC Chain is real. Bye-bye, ETC.
Yeah, this is starting to get out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Stolen and a kill. SPT, 7 kills to 3 right now. Continue to put pressure on. Soap's even going to clear the minion wave, so it's going to be Bruiser and minions. Nah, she's just hanging around. He wanted to join for Hugo, but he's too far away.
Too far away for now. 15 to 17. Dahaka's no full speed car mode. Completing his level 1 talent. Double Storm available for Tassadar as well. 16 needs a little longer for the one, and it's a very important talent here for Lucio. The Reju, very important to keep the frontliners like Sonya and ETC alive. Auriel is going to get a little bit more powerful with that Reservoir of Hope. But they just lost.
Going to be Rejuvenation or up the frequency?
Hard to say, man. I think against the Lunara, both talents are viable. Sonya has a decent health pool, so does Greyman and ETC. Let's see. I mean, it could be both, technically speaking.
Up the frequency keeps Ampit up more, so that you get more consistent, higher healing, whereas the Rejuvenation actually just gives you more healing in the one time you actually use it. Let's see what it ends up being. It is Rejuvenation. They want that huge chunk of healing in a team fight instead of that consistent healing. Just the fights are ending quick enough for that to be correct, I'd say.
Yeah, I think especially when you plan on picking bonus track at level 20, you already have a double healing anyways, so I don't think you need the cooldown reduction, but it's certainly a viable talent for sure.
Yeah, it would have given them the option to take the Lucio version of Cleanse if they wanted to, which would have helped against Muradin and Dahaka, for example, but once again, not taking the risk here. Instead wants that percentage healing to help ETC, who has been getting focused pretty hard here. Dragonite gets dropped. Darken on the best position, but the keep dies, so he's able to tunnel back through with those tunneling claws. Drag misses though, takes a spear for his trouble.
Yeah, the Totem doing so much work when it comes to slowing down the advance of the one. Those Storm Bolts, so good. ETC cannot get a grip on any of those targets, and the one, they realize they need to make something happen as 20 is around the corner for SPT, but here we go, the red team is striking back.
The Aegis explodes, but ETC is stunned out of it. Hugo's taking a lot of damage. Dahaka's sustaining through. Misses a drag again, though. Lucky causing some disruption. No Mosh, though. He gets unlocked and taken down. Meng's in the backline, but he is so outnumbered. Yeah. Down he goes, as Muradin is continuing to basically 1v3 and interaction. Hugo's going to die, but they ignore him as the poison will finish him off and take out an Auriel instead. He though, is living up to his name, just being a nuisance, just staying alive, being annoying, but he can't defend a core alone. Yeah. This is going to be GG, and SPT will take game number 1, and they even get Hee for good measure.
There we go. There's only so many bullets you can dodge if you're Lucio. At some point, you're definitely going to get knocked out, especially with that heavy impact talent from Muradin, making sure that the pesky little Lucio is about to fall. And GG, ladies and gentlemen, SPT took game number 1 against the one in mighty good fashion.
Very nicely done by SPT. The one, though, definitely putting on a strong early game performance.
Absolutely.
They look good. They just couldn't get enough value from that first Dragonite in terms of towers, and they lost heroes, which was very unnecessary. As such, they took what could have been a really solid lead and turned it into a tie. And the second SPT got the Dragonite, at that point, with SPT just crushing for a 4 because it was the second Dragonite and was a little bit stronger, it was basically over.